Welcome back, episode 22 of Revisited, and today we're talking Gigguk's, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Something like that.
His two Black Clover videos. I don't know if he did more Black Clover videos, but these are the two ones that everybody should know. The new problem child in Shounen, and Black Clover does not suck anymore. The thing is, Black Clover never really sucked.
Never.
People just heard the screaming and watched this video and went, "Oh, bad."
Yeah.
Because I remember Pro talking about it, where he was just like,
"Oh, we need to watch this anime. We need to watch it all together at Yoma, and we're going to get in the room and we're going to laugh at it." And we would have just been like, "Okay, yeah, he's screaming a lot, but this is actually not that bad."
Yeah, I was like, "I'll wait for the dub." He was like, "No, you got to watch the sub because it's so terrible." And it's just like,
That's all he's basing it on, and that's what a lot of people. I still see that to this day.
Yeah, first impressions are like it sticks in your mind so much. It's just like with the Xbox One, like 3-4 years later, people still thought it didn't play used games. That's just because it's so ingrained in your mind. Unless you're seeking this stuff out, you're instantly like, "Oh, it was this thing, and it's always this thing."
And we're not saying that Giga started that whole he's screaming so it's bad, but this was a fairly popular video, so he didn't help matters.
If anything, he furthered it. The foundation of that complaint may have already been there, but he definitely helped boost it. So let's just get into it. Move that over.
The shonen genre has been one of the cornerstones of anime since man realised the idea of one spunky, muscly dude punching another spunky, muscly dude could be a form of entertainment, and has shaped many of our fandoms in anime. Dragon Ball Z, the definitive shonen title that defines many of our childhoods that remains to this.
The definitive that defined.
I mean,
Maybe tighten up that sentence.
I mean, and also we got it. We know what Dragon Ball is and what it did.
Title that defines
Sick of it.
many of our childhoods that remains to this day. The big three.
What remains to this day? What about Dragon Ball remains to this day? The fact that it's still on, or the fact that it's still iconic, or shaping us, or what?
I think it's because it's still shaping shonens. There's still a lot still follow the Dragon Ball formula.
I can't, outside of Naruto, I can't point to anything that directly does. There are little bits and pieces here and there, but
it's all bits and pieces that come from Dragon Ball, so it's still within it. But at some point, is it just not like, let's say in Naruto shapes the next thing?
Yeah.
Is it no? But you could just go, because Dragon Ball. But what about the things that shape Dragon Ball? We don't talk about, the journey to the West or whatever. We don't talk about none of that.
No,
we just talk about Dragon Ball.
Yeah, no.
The big three, powerhouse shows that led the charge and are likely the reasons many of you are anime fans now.
Why was Bleach part of the big three?
Because it had a lot of style. If you were a kid and not thinking about it, you just watch punch, sword, fly sort of stuff. Ichigo and Rukia are both likable enough.
And the first arc was really good.
The first arc is really good. The
first
side
big
characters, Sans, Chad, are all good to okay. The first arc, the first two arcs, the Substitute Soul Reaper arc and the
Rescue
Rukia arc, those are just like, okay, boom. If it was just like, hey, read Bleach back then, I'm like, oh, this is pretty good actually. And then it just, that's why it was popular.
But it's the slow decline and then the massive drop.
Yeah. Cause if it was just like, hey, we got the not the Soul Society arc first, but second, third, and then just switch that with the Hueco Mundo arc. Like, yeah, Hueco Mundo is a serviceable arc, and then you got the Soul Society, which is great, and then you just but no, it just went up to the mountain and then back to the ground.
Felt Tail, a slightly smaller hit than the three powerhouses, which I can objectively say after watching it was definitely time spent. Innovation is not something we normally praise in the genre, as the standard formula has been seen many times, and that's fine. We all know what we're getting into at this point, so even if a series doesn't have many original ideas, it's kind of hard to really fuck up, as long as you know what you're doing. Oh, hey there, Black Clover. Nice of you to join us. Here, why don't you take a seat right there next to Hiro Aka. Oh, Oh no, he's been drinking again. This season, Black Clover has definitely become everyone's new favorite punching bag. So as your friendly neighborhood shonen trash fuckboy, of course I would take it upon myself to investigate the hate behind the show as to what it is that could have possibly riled people up so much. This was meant to be the new king of shonen, at least it was according to Crunchyroll's marketing department. As with this,
of course, the marketing department is gonna make people want to watch the show. Mm-hmm. That's the point. Watch the show, come here, watch the show, get ads. They get money. So, of course, they're going to do whatever they need to go, this is popular, this is good, you should be watching this. And also watch some of the other great Crunchyroll shows that we have here.
It's just like lesser movies they know aren't going to get a bunch of butts in the seat. They market it in a way that maximum appeal, even though that's not the movie that you're going to get. So yeah, the marketing department is only there to market the whatever and get as many eyes or butts in the seat as possible, money out your pockets as possible. Well, how is that a fault of Black Clover itself? That's not really fair to Black Clover.
Yeah.
Tries to become one of the top new manga currently running in Shonen Jump, a lot of eggs were put in this basket for it to become the new golden goose of anime. And with this proverbial hype and the fact that it had to come on stage following My Hero Academia's rise to fame, the setup was there for a huge disappointment, which Black Clover excitedly ran into like the loud, special child that it was. There was this moment when I was watching a spunky, spiky-haired, hard-working protagonist who has no magic powers whatsoever, with a naturally talented brooding rival who he may or may not be furiously bumming behind the shed, find out that he in fact possesses a special power which he and only he can wield, allowing him to pursue his dreams of being the Wizard King and the very best that no one ever was. That it slowly dawned on me that I might have seen this somewhere before. But where? I pondered, and while racking my memories, I concluded that perhaps it was that one show called literally every shonen battle anime created ever. It wasn't that the premise was reminiscent of other shows.
One Piece. He did not have a power or anything that he had to find within himself. You're speaking of bits and pieces of Naruto and bits and pieces of My Hero. My Hero came out alongside, or at least a little
even
bit
Dragon
before.
Ball didn't.
Yeah.
But he just said that, a shonen doesn't necessarily have to have original ideas as long as it's doing good things.
Doing what it does good.
Yeah.
But then he immediately goes, oh, it's like everything else. But again, it's just the whole no powers into powers. It makes it more relatable. It makes it, you have a bigger journey to go towards learning your powers, learning how to do it, everything, as opposed to just, oh, I have my powers, and it's a more underdog type of story.
Absolutely. It's somebody that's had their powers since birth and just has been training it for years and years and years, and you're just thrown into the mix with your no powers or limited powers or freshly gotten powers. You want to see how that character is going to grow as opposed to someone that's already grown a bunch and now they just have to grow character-wise as opposed to learning how to use their powers and growing as a hero or whatever.
It's Bakugo versus Deku. But yeah, again, it's basically bits and pieces of Naruto and bits and pieces of My Hero. That's really all I can think of.
Bleach? A little bit.
No,
a little bit of Bleach.
Bleach is a special case because it wasn't like he had the power within himself. He was a regular human, but it wasn't like it was a world of people around him that was doing magical things, and he was the one that was not magical. He was just some dude. And he also, his dad was a soul reaper. That doesn't really matter.
But then his mom was also a plant.
Yeah. But if we're looking at it like,
also see dead people.
Yeah, that's kind of special, but that's basically nothing. But yeah, if you look at it like that, it's just like he was just a normal human. It was nothing special about him, and he didn't he had his power within him, but he did. Bleach ruins itself near the end.
The series unashamedly pulls from the list of every generic shonen cliche you can think of that can be interchanged from any other series. You have your edgy rival, a loudmouth kid screaming about how...
One Piece does not have an edgy rival.
No, it does not.
So, every shonen ever.
That's automatically just debunked.
Ice Shield does not have an edgy rival. Ippo does not have an edgy rival.
Flame of Recca doesn't have an edgy rival. Not edgy. Or psychopathic.
Yeah, he's a psychopath. It's not an edgelord rival. Yeah, no, he's
not like a brooding. No, he's just I'm an evil person. Again, Naruto and My Hero and DBZ, I guess, which started it all.
He wants to be king of the pirates in the Hidden Leaf Village. The captains of the Goat Faith.
He has a goal, so it's like everything else.
Everything that has a goal, as opposed to things that don't have a goal. What are you doing this for? No reason. Just no reason.
Bleaching you. But again, is it a bad thing to have a goal? Dorothy! I didn't know she was in this scene. I love Dorothy.
Guild of Outcast Mages, and in a world where most people get the 3-leaf clover and Yuno is hailed as a genius for having the 4-leaf clover, Asta, of course, gets the legendary power of the 5-tailed devil fruit. Overpowered ability cancelling ability? Check.
Go back a little bit. Just so we can get his whole point right there. He gets the power of the 5-tailed devil fruit. Luffy, it wasn't a special thing. He opened up a box and ate a thing.
His devil fruit is like C tier.
It's so base. This is a power that was within himself. He's just trying to conflate it by just saying other things. He wants to be the pirate king and then leaf filler. You're just going, yeah, you got these shonen in your mind and therefore it's like this. No, he gets a power that's not like the devil fruit inherently. You're just going, he gets a power, so it's like that. No.
Legendary power of the 5-tailed devil fruit. Overpowered ability cancelling ability? Check. Tsundere.
What else does that?
Ability cancelling ability?
What shonen and protag has an ability cancelling ability?
I'm sure they're out there, but
I'm almost positive I have not seen every shonen ever. But I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I think it's just one of those things where he's moving so fast that you don't really have a lot of time to think about this thing. So he goes, ability canceling power, check. And then he moves on and just goes, yeah, you got it. And you don't think about it because he's already on to the next thing, something that you can agree with as soon as they love interest. You go, yep, I got that one.
Yeah, that was more apropos of what the typical shonen does.
He's really poisoning the well with this because he's not really, outside of going, it's generic, he hasn't really brought up any flaws yet.
Canceling
and it's not really.
Check. Tsundere love interest? Check.
See, that's also flip because it's usually the protag that is trying to go after that girl, but Noelle loves Asta. So it's actually flipped.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. It's so funny that people always talk about subversion and stuff, but Black Clover subverts so many of the shonen tropes.
And nobody's trying to hear that.
Because all they're hearing is Asta screaming.
Yes.
You've got Yuno, who is supposed to be like, you're a piece of you're beneath me, you're not as good as me, when it's really like, no, he is the only person I know that can rival me.
Which is fantastic.
And Noelle,
that's episode 1. You should instantly be like, oh snap. We already in here like this.
And like we just said, it's the flip where it's the hero that's supposed to be chasing the girl, but the girl is the one looking at the hero.
And also, tsundere love interest. What shonen are we talking about here? I
would say Sakura, maybe?
But she's not tsundere, because with tsundere you have to have the tsun and didere, the angry side and the loving side, but you don't get that.
She
with
does
Sakura.
get the loving side with Sasuke.
With Sasuke, yes, but that's not to the main character. That's to the I think it's called a Deuteronomy, duality. It's do something, but it's like the secondary main character. It's like a dual main character. But are you just saying just having this type of character in the show automatically makes it trope? But again, I've named one example.
2.
Maybe.
It's definitely not maybe DBZ with Chi-Chi. Yeah, I would say Chi-Chi.
But she's so infrequent that,
I mean, but it's still, yeah. It's not so much that she's part of the main cast. So are we just talking about there needs to be a girl that's like that, or are we talking it needs to be the main cast girl that's like that?
Because if you're just like it's a tsundere, so it's automatically tropey. That's like so many shows. I'm trying to think. I'm trying really, not even Fairy Tale. And fairy tale is fairy tale.
Old star. You may be wondering how I can be criticizing the...
Two things.
You got 2 things.
My goodness.
Dude, what's up? Well, I guess the edgelord thing of the rival. But again, even that's subverted over to the side. And again, subverted does not equal good,
No.
but you're not even thinking about it. You're not even talking about it.
Tsundere love interest. Okay, talk about her character. What is she? Why does she like Asta? What are her struggles? You're just going, here's her character type and we're done.
You may be wondering how I can be criticizing the abundant use of generic shonen tropes when for the past year I've been easing off my stiffy and how My Hero Academia revels in these same tropes without doing anything entirely new, and to that I say that Black Clover feels like it's lacking something very important behind it. The heart. With shows like
Oh, come on, dude.
That's another one of these freaking C-Vids. Like, yeah, this does the same thing, but no, you can't condemn one thing and then celebrate the other thing. What do you mean, the heart? It out the gates just goes. It introduces you to so much within the world. Why Asta is like this? Why Yuno is like this? Just the whole don't talk about Yuno because he's my dude. Don't talk about Asta because he's my dude. I was just like, oh snap, we're doing this. Because it seems so much like a Naruto Sasuke that you just rolling your eyes. Then he just goes, yeah, you'd be the Wizard King if not for me. That whole thing's just like, oh snap.
The heart. With shows like Hunter... With shows like Hunter x Hunter, JoJo's, and One Punch Man really pushing the boundary of leftover originality in the genre, I would say that most things that can be done have been done, and I'm fine with that because that means we are more...
Yeah, most things in the world that can be done has been done. The number of purely original stories are so few and far between
that I legit can't even remember the last one.
That's why we get so many sequels and remakes of movies, or movies that are just like, okay, this is like this, but here's a little bit of a twist sort of thing. That's why things like Cabin in the Woods is so good. That it's a thing, but then it's not the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You go,
it's the thing. It's not the thing, and it's also a new thing.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I love Cabin in the Woods so much. And, that's one of those things where it's like, this is the thing. So many people are like, you don't get it, that's why you don't understand why it's good.
You just comment like that.
Yes, Cabin in the Woods is a good movie on its own. And then if you understand the what it's doing, it's even better. If you understand the horror genre, it's even better.
But also, another problem with this video, he just goes, Hunter x Hunter and JoJo's and One Punch Man, they do things differently. How? Explain what you mean. Because plucky, young, spiky-haired protagonist who wants to be who has a goal, I guess, that's over there in Hunter x Hunter. Tsundere love interest, that's Pluck, Pearl in her head. I forget her name.
Oh,
lanky hair.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I forgot her name.
Yeah, that's her. But that's her. But so we can just shift on over to there. But it does things differently because you said they do, but you don't explain what they do differently. So we just accept it.
Execution. But here there seems to be no rhyme or reason as to
a little bit.
Been done, and I'm fine with that because that means we are more focused on the execution. But here there seems to be no rhyme or reason as to why there's such a cesspool of uninspired cliches, which is a subtle but important difference to the titles that it draws from. For example,
what? What did you just say? It can focus on the execution, but there seems to be no rhyme or reason why there's cliches here. I legit don't even know what you mean. Well, he's about to explain some of it, I guess.
Difference to the titles that it draws from. For example, Naruto established right at the beginning that the reason he was a loud, brash, annoying cunt was because it was his way of getting attention to himself after being outcast his entire life, and it was because of this that it was so satisfying to see him slowly mature and gain acceptance from the people around him.
Asta is one of like 32 kids in an orphanage, and he has no powers.
And everybody else does.
He's doing that to pump himself up because he's got nothing.
And he constantly was just like, I got something I know I do. So what are we doing here?
You know when he got quiet? When he let those doubts creep in, just like, maybe I'm just not good. And then the second, it was just like, nah, you're good. Yes, I am.
Side, Asta's reasoning for being a loud, annoying cunt seems to be because he was hit on the head one too many times as a kid. Hero Aka.
No, dude, come on. That's completely disingenuous. Again, it's poison in the well. You're not even given a reason. You're not even given a whatever reason. You just did a joke and just went, okay, it's a joke and we're done here.
You're not even allowing your audience to
make the decision.
To think for themselves and be like, okay, this is the argument that Gigguk presented to me. Do I believe this? Yeah, it's just like, wow, this looks stupid.
It's a literal joke. So you just go, okay, there's no reason why he's like that other than maybe he did get hit in the head a little bit too much when he was a kid. That's disgusting.
As a kid, Hero Aka. Todoroki's rivalry with Deku stems from his upbringing, causing his desire to prove he is
What?
Rivalry with Deku? What? That started and ended here.
Kid. Hero Aka. Todoroki's rivalry with Deku stems from his upbringing, causing his desire to prove he is far beyond Deku, who is reminiscent.
No, it doesn't!
No!
That's not what that is about!
No, it's not at all!
The only reason he wants to fight Deku is like, okay, this dude could maybe help me show that I don't need my father's side. Because the rest, he finished off fairly easily. It's like, this dude is going to push me a little bit, and it's going to make my dad mad.
Seriously, rivalry? What are you talking about? This is, again, it started and ended here.
Now, Todoroki looks towards Deku like, yes, that's what it should be.
But he's making things a lot more grandiose here to make things a lot lazier over there.
Beyond Deku, who is reminiscent of All Might, the cause of his abusive childhood. While Yuno's strong sense of seeing Asta as his personal rival stems from seeing that he got hit on the head too many times.
No, they've been together since they were kids. Yuno sees how hard Asta is working.
Harder than anybody he's ever seen.
Even though he's a literal bum. He's a non-special bum, but he's doing everything that he can. So he's going, okay, this dude who's a literal bum is doing everything he can. I shall as well. I know that this dude, through pure tenacity, might one day be the Wizard King. But here I go. I gotta match him.
I'm not even lying. That's like his special ability. My point is that all these cliche elements that are present seem to be there simply because they are marketable and popular and for no other reason other than that. It feels disingenuous as it doesn't seem like any thought has been put into why or how they define our characters, their relationships, and...
It makes sense when you actually watch the series and see why Yuno thinks that way.
Yes. Yeah, I wonder how far he went into this because it's explained pretty early, and even if it's not explained, you can see through actions what's going on here.
This is ridiculous.
This is very I don't like this thing, so I'm gonna present it in the least favorable light possible.
The world around them. In fact, initial world building boils down to characters periodically drawing us close so they can subtly remind us, hey you. Have you heard that in this world, magic is everything? They are there because on the surface, these traits have stood out in popular shonen jump titles. Individually, we'd mostly just chalk these things up to, hey, it's just shonen, just let shonen be shonen. But put together, and the show feels like it was made by a committee of people, marking off a checklist from their How to Write a Shonen Battle series for Dummies book.
Except, I almost said exactly. Except, we already see that they're not doing a lot of the things that shonens do.
Yeah, no. It's...
Dude, I don't know what you...
Yeah, this is... He was not either not paying attention or he's just lying. And either way, it's just... This is not a video that you should be putting out to your audience to sell that this show is bad. Because you've just gone, it's tropey, and it does the same thing that a lot of other things do, but without something, and you don't even present the thing that it does do.
And again, tropes are not a negative. Themes and all this stuff, and even generic is not a negative if it's presented well. Like, you can have pepperoni pizza, and it's like, oh, it's a generic slice of pizza. You didn't do anything special, but pizza don't all taste the same. Yeah. A pepperoni pizza does not all taste the same, even though they all use the same basic ingredients. Just being generic is not a negative, as long as you are doing something well.
Usopp is such a unique brand of a coward that it's outside. If you just go, he's a coward, and then you just, well, that's tropey and that's no, he's so much more than that. And even the fact that he's a coward, there's so much more in that than that. It's not just coward, point blank, period.
Problem stems from the actual start of the manga. It doesn't seem like a great adaptation either, as I wouldn't be able to get through a Black Clover video without mentioning Asta's chalkboard grating, high-pitched screeching, ear-bleed-inducing screaming that just makes you want to go
Didn't even care.
Pause. You see, he screams a lot, and thus bad, and thus annoying.
Bad.
I didn't even care. I watched the first couple episodes sub at an anime convention, and then I went over to the dub, didn't even care.
Let's use her indoor voice. While I am reluctant to say that if you get used to his voice, the experience as a whole gets better, as such a sentence.
So whole thing bad cause voice. Cause once you get used to it, it better. Dude, what?
What?
Telling someone getting stabbed repeatedly in the testicles isn't so bad once the adrenaline kicks in to mask the agonizing pain. I will say that enduring 6 episodes now, the screaming has gotten bearable, but it's still one of the few shows I can at least recommend the dub without getting lynched for it. I would say reading the manga made my experience better, but his screams had permeated my conscience so deeply that I was still hearing it in my head as I was reading, like a growing tumor that was killing me from the inside. As it stands, it's just an
comedy is very subjective, but this is not funny.
To you.
For you. Yeah, he's put a lot of jokes, and I've smiled kind of at one of them. And again,
the fairy tale one.
Yeah, and again, it's yeah.
It's jokes over analysis. You're not even saying, Asta got punched in the head a lot. Chuckle. That's the joke. Yeah. But no, that's not what happens there. Why is he getting punched right there? Why is Yuno just standing there? You're not even saying what happened there. You're just going, ha ha, punch your head. And that's the joke. He screams a lot, and it's like a tumor in my brain.
And Asta is one of 13, 14 characters within the first couple of episodes. Are you telling me that it ruins the experience completely because one character isn't to snuff?
Barrier to the anime, which is only a problem exclusive to the anime. But Gigguk, I hear you shouting in disbelief. Surely you don't mean to say that the studio that gave us such perfect anime adaptations as edgy, sparkly vampire zombies makes Boy Walk for 20 hours could be handling the show badly. And, well, I'm sorry to break it to you kids, but Studio Parrots are back at it again, this time reintroducing us to a concept I have very happily not had to talk about for a very long time. Filler. Filler for you newer anime fans who didn't have to sit through such masterpieces as Naruto's shadow clones going on strike for their unsatisfactory work conditions is normally anime original content which can take the form of scenes, episodes, or entire fucking seasons that don't actually progress the plot in any way and fill up the time. Now if you're a new anime fan and this is the first you're hearing about this, then you may be thinking, wow, that sounds like an awful idea that's stupidly annoying to have to sit through and endure just to...
No. Not really. Depending on the characters, the plot, whatever, it could be a fine filler arc.
Yeah, there's some things
I prefer some of the filler of Fairy Tail.
Oh yeah, there's some filler. Urza is 5 stars, but yeah, there's certain things that lengthening a scene can be seen as filler. And in One Piece, the anime lengthened the scene of Ashura Doji versus Jack, the pink-haired samurai dude, just to go, okay, Ashura Doji is super powerful. Look at him going toe-to-toe with Jack, as opposed to in the manga, it was like 3 panels, and then you go, okay, yeah, he's strong. Yep. But no, in the anime, it was lengthened up to like a 5-minute fight. So you go, okay, but that's technically filler. But it's still good.
It's just like, still sticking with One Piece, the walk on Arlong Park. That's like 2 panels. They see them and then they're at the place and they're punching the wall. But the March on Arlong Park is like a 2-3 minute scene, and it's so much better in the anime. And again, that's technically filler. Filler is not inherently a negative.
Yeah, no. But again, just poison in the well. Just going, it can be a whole season. Isn't this bad? It doesn't progress the plot. It doesn't need to, because it can be some good stuff in there. It could just be character building stuff. It could be stuff that makes you like the character more. But again, Urza outside of battle is fantastic. Filler Urza, because there's basically no battle, is fine. It's great because she's just a big lame-o that loves cake and acting, and she can't act. I love Filler Urza.
Watch a show, and yeah, it was. It really was. But there was a point to it, which was to allow the manga to get ahead before the anime caught up to it. As a general rule of thumb, would have 2 or 3 chapters being adapted per anime episode. In the modern era of seasonal anime, though, this concept has been mostly phased out, with shows at most putting...
Okay, because My Hero still does it even though it has seasonal anime, and it's already almost caught up with the manga even with the seasonal. It's so close to the manga.
out new seasons once a year, giving a very defined gap for the manga to get ahead with new material without the anime needing to fear of catching up, which I'm very grateful for. New age shonen like Hero Aka, Shokugeki and Haikyuu have benefited from this greatly, as all the material animated has been top notch without any weird pacing issues that shonen used to be known for. So it absolutely...
Pause. But My Hero has filler as well.
And pacing issues.
Most of the hero... The students doing their what's that thing called?
Study thing, work study
thing. Yeah, most of that was filler. Whole filler with Froppy. Great episode. Wasn't in the manga. But filler equal bad. So I guess that can't be good.
In One Piece, there's a story of why Usopp has his goggles, and Oda could not fit it in the manga in a way. So he just quickly, moved on, and Usopp bought the goggles or whatever. But in the anime, they actually show it, and it's the design and story that Oda originally wanted to do for Usopp, and they were able to do it in the anime, whereas he wasn't able to do it in the manga. Filler is not inherently a negative.
Same thing with Fairy Tail, where Lucy got a nice little 13-episode arc with a villain that gave a whole lot of closure to her whole father issues.
Baffles me why so much filler has been added to the first few episodes of Black Clover when there is no reason to. Currently, the first 6 episodes cover 4 chapters, which if you've studied maths in school, you'd be able to figure out that that's on average less than 1 chapter per anime episode. It's not even good filler. 3 minutes of recap are added at the start of every episode, and the rest of the padded runtime is just filled with more of Asta's screeching voice. It's as though the studio...
Yeah, the rest of it is just him screeching. Yeah, there's no further exploration of anything like when they were children. No characters. No trying to figure out exactly who these 6 leaders of the magic guilds are. There's nothing like that. It's just screeching. That's all.
Prepping for the anime.
I hate crap like this.
It's so disingenuous.
It's not even good filler. There's recap and there's screaming. That's what you got, dude. Come on!
It's as though the studio were prepping for the anime to catch up to the manga at episode 1, giving us a blisteringly slow pace, and the worst thing is that unlike the OG filler episodes and arcs, which can at least be skipped, the problem with these episodes is that they are just really slowly paced. And the reason I bring up all these criticisms is...
Yeah, slow paced. I'm not going to show you any examples, but it just is. Please believe me.
Now, the people that were watching this, did they feel that slow pace before you said this? Did they go, wow, why is this moving so slow? Or did they not even notice because they're just watching the show?
Stuff is happening. It's not just screaming. We're learning about Asta and Yuna and the world. Stuff is happening.
Black Clover shouldn't be this bad.
It's not bad. Black Clover has always been pretty good to really good.
Bad. I'm sorry. It shouldn't be this bad.
And again, why is it bad? Because of it's generic. It's
tropey.
It's tropey. It's not doing anything special. And we're not even talking about the anime, or because that's just adaptation and screaming issues. Again, you're not saying why it's bad. You're just automatically going tropes equal bad.
Tropes equal bad, scream equal bad, filler equal bad, so this bad.
Trope equals bad, but the execution could improve it. But this execution doesn't improve it because all the reason why he's like this because he got hit on the head. That's what you're giving me.
I read ahead in the manga, ready to just revel in the worst that Shonen Jump has to offer, and to my surprise, it actually wasn't that bad. In fact, there comes a point when I would say that it becomes kind of... good. There are definitely more...
It is good.
It's always been good. A bunch of aristocrats that don't like this ragtag group of people in their guild. Isn't that a bit tropey? Isn't that automatically equal mean it's bad? Come on now, dude. You're just going...
Good. There are definitely more clearly defined strengths that the series holds. The fun really comes from the introduction of the big ensemble cast, and the variety there is not only with the cast members, but the special magic that everyone is capable of. Combine this with the pacing, which for a shonen is blisteringly fast, which is a good thing in my opinion, because
Okay, so it's just moving fast, so it good now.
It's got a lot of people as well with a lot of different powers. No matter what their personalities are.
I can something be blisteringly slow and blisteringly fast. Why wouldn't you need to use a different adjective there? But like, so if it's so fast, wouldn't it make sense to slow it down in the anime?
Yes.
Because this is the thing. People when things move too fast, they say there's not enough weight to it. I don't subscribe to that line of thinking. What the ever? But wouldn't this add more weight to it to give things time to breathe?
Yeah.
Shonen as a whole is normally paced slower than your average show, even without filler because of how much time they have to work with. But there always feels like there is progression in every single chapter of Black Clover, which is a rarity for this genre. While it's still nothing great.
What?
I don't know.
Shonens don't have progression with each chapter? Stuff just doesn't happen in Shonen. Even in Naruto, in the war arc where it was just dragging, there was still stuff happening. What are you talking about? You're not giving examples. You're just going,
It's good now.
It's good now because
It's fast now.
Each chapter has progression. Okay, thank you.
While it is still nothing groundbreaking, the series is just bundles of fun, and it has its moments, so I certainly see it gaining a fair bit of popularity, despite it seemingly trying its damned hardest to put viewers off early. It's just a shonen for pure shonen lovers, and there's enough here that I feel could be very worth revisiting when and if the anime gets to these points, because as it stands, Black Clover is the perfect case study of how not to start a show. But
no, see, you're talking about how bad it is, and it's a problem child, but you're going, it's actually really good. The start of the anime just as bad, to me.
This is the kind of thing that you put in the beginning. Because what if somebody doesn't watch the whole 11 minutes? What if they just go, oh, I want to know what Gigguk, my favorite YouTuber, thinks about this show? Oh, 8 minutes in, he says that it sucks, and I'm not going to watch it. It's done. Dude, what are you doing?
Both in the introduction to a premise and the execution of adapting the manga. As an adaptation, it feels like a dated piece of work, but despite all this, somehow I just can't find myself completely hating it. It has this—
Cause it's actually good!
Yes. You, outside of the tropey stuff, he has not really said anything that's bad about it. Is the world bad? Is the reason why Asta wants to become the Wizard King bad? You know, the relationship between them. The guild. Is any of this bad or is it just tropey?
Weird phenomenon where I can spend an entire episode complaining about how badly the show is executed and how I lose a bit of my soul every time I hear Asta scream. I need to find myself clicking on that next episode button anyway because there was that really cool bit of animation or they stopped before an event where I just want to see what happens next. And at the time I wasn't sure if I was just suffering from Stockholm Syndrome or if there was something else actually there.
It sounds like he wanted to dislike it.
That really does.
So
he went in like, oh, everyone's saying this is bad. This is gonna be bad. This is gonna be bad. I can't wait to talk how bad this is.
Oh, why am I clicking the next episode? Oh, let me watch this next episode, I guess.
Oh, wait. This ain't bad. Oh, no.
Oh, no, I already wrote 3/4 of my video. We can't rewrite it. Heavens no. So let's just tag this on the end. Super eye patch wolf style, and we're done.
Something else actually there. Is Black Clover the new king of Shounen?
No,
Fuck no.
absolutely
But
not.
what I can say is that it has the potential to be a very popular show, if the rest of the series is handled decently. I very much doubt this will be the last time I talk about it, as I predict it will be one of those shows that splits the anime community faster than Moses parted the Red Sea. But
It shouldn't, because the people, every time I talk about Black Clover, people are like, you like Black Clover? It's so generic. I know you're not talking about generic stuff when you're talking about Black Clover. Somebody literally said to me, I know not to come to you for opinions on anime or recommendations on anime because you like Black Clover, but you don't like Hunter x Hunter.
Explain. Please explain. What do you mean? Why is Black Clover bad? Generic. Okay.
And then I literally just, okay, just tell me what you like about Hunter x Hunter. No, you don't like it, so it's not going to matter.
There's no point in talking to people like that.
There's no point in talking to you.
Why even put down your opinion on the internet if you're just going to cower it away like that?
current point, it's just taking baby steps, and literally the first thing it needs to do is stop.
Okay, it's taking...
Hey, he had that necklace all the way back then. Wow.
Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness. Because that becomes important in the current arc.
I'm not at the current arc.
Yeah, no, that becomes really important in the current arc. Wow. Huh.
Anyway. Well, I don't even remember what I was about to say. Let me go back a little bit.
Then Moses parted the Red Sea.
Okay, I remember what I was about to say. Baby steps. Too many shonen hit the ground running
So fast.
and then they hit their top speed so quickly, and then they start to, sputter out and slow down, and people are like, oh wow, this is getting bad. No, it was just so good so quick that you didn't get a build up. Again, I've always said this. Long running shonen is a marathon, but too many mangakas treat it like it's a sprint, like it's a 100-yard dash. So they put out so much quality so quickly that invests you into the series, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this isn't as good. Oh, it's not as good. Oh, it's not as good. Instead of building up to this good stuff and then it becoming really, really good to great, and then it's just maintaining that level. Now,
Bleach is the primary example with that.
yes, you can have something great or amazing, and then even if the rest of your baseline is okay to good, it now looks bad.
If it's just as good as everything else now when it started off way up here.
It's fallen off technically. Whereas if you started out good, went up to amazing or really good, and now you're just at really good to good, it's like, wow, this is consistently great. And it's got a lot of great moments within it. It's consistently good.
Taking baby steps, and literally the first thing it needs to do is stop fucking screaming. Jesus.
It does not matter. I noticed it.
Quality issues. No quality issues, just screaming. Just the same 6 clips of him screaming. Thanks, Gigguk.
Someone get him a fucking muffler?
やばい今のとこ俺ずっと叫んでるだけだ
That's it. That's the fucking show. Hey guys, hope
It's not the show! You said it's not the show!
What? Who is he trying to appeal to here? What is he trying to say with this video? My goodness.
Are we rating this one, or are we just...
Oh, this is a -9.
I almost went 10.
It's very disingenuous. It's just... There's not enough substance here.
Yeah,
a
it's
lot
not
of
long
just
enough.
Jokey stuff but the disingenuousness and the lying and just not explaining yourself. Because it would have taken a minute to just go, JoJo does this differently than Shonen. One Punch Man does this differently. But he just goes, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That doesn't.
I've never seen One Punch Man. I've never read a single panel. I've never watched a single second of it.
No, but you know.
No.
But you know. Moving on.
Okay. I guess I know. I guess I just know. Yeah, I'm gonna go 9.5. If it was even 6 minutes longer, it definitely would have hit a 10.
This is a bad video, make no doubt.
Yeah, this was really bad. This was really bad.
I don't understand.
And all it did was influence a generation of people to go Black Clover real bad.
Why? And then they link the video, or they just go, it's generic and he screams with no real substance behind it. Something can be generic and bad, generic and good. You can't, just generic.
My Hero is generic and good.
I would never say, yes, generic. What do you think about this? This is generic. And then just move on. No. Generic would be on the list of like maybe 6 or 7 if there was something that was really generic and I had an issue with it. And it would be 6 or 7 with my issues. I would go, this. That's all it does, these generic things, these tropey things, whatever. But you know, like you said, it's because of the genre. It's because of there are no real stories left to tell.
There's no real innovation to be had. Yeah.
And the ones that are just, they're just here. Sometimes they go a little bit too far with things. Like, man, I really want to read Samurai 6 or whatever.
Samurai 8.
Yeah, whatever that's called. Just because I see, it looks like he's trying way too much, way too soon.
And it ended his manga.
Yeah, just so like, I'm not generic. I'm doing all these things.
And people hated it. Negative 9.5.
Video.
Yeah, that was bad.